I've been meaning to make a video like this for a few chapters now, because this is one of those videos where I just randomly think of when I'm eating lunch or something. But this idea in particular has a very high chance of manifesting itself just because of the current circumstances of the story. So before we get into the video, I'm gonna need everyone to like the video, as it not only helps the video get out to more Boruto fans like me and you, but it also helps the channel grow overall. We just hit 10k subscribers, so I'm as thirsty as ever for 20k. And I know together it won't take us that long either. But hey, without further ado, let's hop right into it. So I'm not gonna waste no time, I'ma just outright and say it. To me, Ryu was the least interesting Shinju out the bunch. And I don't know if that has to do with him being the shortest lived Shinju, or him just not being interesting overall. I mean, he did talk pretty cool. The way he carried himself overall gave him some bonus points when it came to how well his character was put together, but when it comes to impact in the story, he's the least impactful. And somehow that doesn't feel weird to say, even though he's the only Shinju to actually kill someone. Hidari is a better character, Matsuri, even Mamushi is more interesting. And we never even seen Mamushi really fight. But off the fact that he can see through Eida's Senragon, that fact alone makes him more interesting than Ryu. He did have his moments though. I was actually a little worried because I didn't really want Ikimoto to do what he did with Hidari and bring him back to the story by having them lose the Thorn Soul at the last minute. I felt like Ryu served his purpose and he shouldn't be brought back. But then I thought, who would be an ideal candidate for the next Shinju? A lot of characters would be a good choice, but the one that stuck the most in my head would be Daemon. You see, Daemon has been a pretty solid character so far in the story, but as strong as he is, I feel like it would be a waste for him not to have a major impact in the story sooner rather than later. As someone who came into the story and as soon as he did, showcased one of the most overpowered Shinjutsu we have ever seen up to that point, I have no doubt in my mind he would be one of the strongest Shinjus besides JURA to awaken. Now, just so we're clear, how can Daemon become a Shinju if his Shinjutsu won't even allow anyone to attack him? Well, I did happen to make numerous videos on the case, but I suppose that was quite a while ago, so it wouldn't be fair to just send y'all off to another video when I can just explain it more updated here and now. So what we know about Daemon's reflective Shinjutsu is that it reflects any intentional acts of violence, premeditated attacks, meaning even just thinking about attacking him can cause his Shinjutsu to activate. He can manually reflect any attack if his palms touch you, and what's worst of all, he doesn't even have to be conscious for his Shinjutsu to take effect. It works even when he's sleeping. It's difficult to really find a weakness to his Shinjutsu because honestly, we just don't know everything there is to know about it. I'm sure we'll know a bit more later down the road, but right now, our knowledge is very limited because we just haven't seen Daemon fight all that much. And when he was going to tell Code more about his ability, Eida stopped him before he could say anything. But what we do know is that it has to do heavily with cognitive function. The reason why it's so hard to get around his Shinjutsu is because you have to find a way to attack him without thinking about causing him harm. And you have to be fast enough so he can't touch you with his palms. Easier said than done. Because how can you actually attack someone without thinking of harming them? It's literally impossible. Every time someone fights, they're thinking of causing the other person harm. You can't fight without cognitive function, but maybe you can. I suppose if anyone can, the beings that have the highest probability of making that happen is the Shinju, along with the claw grimes. So let me try to break this down as best as I can. Since we really don't have that many examples, let's use Hidari attacking SARADA for example. When Hidari first seen SARADA, there was a reason why he instantly attacked her without second thought. One specific reason, and that is instinct. By definition, instinct is an innate, typically fixed pattern of behavior in animals in response to certain stimuli. In humans, instinct refers to an unlearned behavior or tendency that drives action without any conscious thought. It's like when you were an infant, nobody taught you how to eat, nobody taught you how to breathe, or use the bathroom on yourself. These are things that we just instinctively know how to do. When Hidari seen SARADA, there was no conscious thought behind him attacking her. He unconsciously did it because instinctively that was something he was wired to do. During chapter 5, when the Shinju were naming their targets, JURA stated the drive to devour their targets is indeed an instinctual desire. When you're hungry, you're gonna eat. When you're thirsty, you're gonna drink. It's the same thing with them. Hidari didn't premeditate causing Sarada harm, it just instinctively happened. Even though each Shinju has an individual conscience, and because of that, they all don't have the same target. Even though that is true, the desire to devour their targets still remained instinctual. The only weird case was Matsuri, who seemed to still have that driving force to devour Konohamaru, but another factor was playing a part in that desire which confused her majorly, and that's love. Those two were in her head fighting each other. Her deep, incomprehensible love for Konohamaru, and her driving desire to devour him. That's why she felt like she was going absolutely crazy. But in any normal case, that's not really gonna be a problem, especially in Mamushi's case. You see, Mamushi is one of the weirdest Shinjus. That's why he's one of the more intriguing. He's shown the best feat out of everyone, even surpassing JURA. Not in terms of strength, he's shown the capability of seeing through Eida's Senragon. Now, whether that means he's immune to omnipotence or not is yet to be proven until we get confirmed information as of why he was able to see her. But if we was just to predict based on what was already shown to us, the odds show me that Mamushi may be able to attack Eida, bypassing the omnipotence that's casted over herself that prevents people from attacking her. So based on Mamushi perceiving Eida's presence when she's using the Senragon, it's safe to say he's not normal at all. So let's really deep dive on this crazy situation. Because if I didn't quite sell you on the first part on why I think Mamushi has what it takes to bypass Daemon's reflective Shinjutsu and devour Eida, then this part should give my theory some more depth. So eventually when Mamushi does come after Eida, instinctively he has to attack her. But don't get so focused on me saying attacking her, because that's just me as a conscious human identifying the action that Mamushi will do to her. He's attacking her, literally. When Hidari was attacking Sarada, he didn't even know what he was doing. He was just listening to his body and what he wanted to do in that moment. So Mamushi may not even see it as attacking her. He may just see it as a normal everyday thing, something he was meant to do. Now, I admit this logic is a double-edged sword, because as easily as I can argue that he doesn't understand the concept of intention, someone else can argue that he is fully aware of his intention to attack Eida. And all that has to do with how far evolved Mamushi is. Let's take someone like JURA for instance. If he's fighting, he's fully aware that he's attacking someone or about to devour someone. He's just fully aware of his actions. And that's because he's further along in his evolution process than the rest of the Shinju. To evolve as a Shinju means to understand, to gain intelligence. The main reason Matsuri didn't just outright attack Konohamaru as soon as she's seen him is because she's far enough into her evolution process to the point where she can feel emotions such as love. To feel emotion required some level of intelligence. To feel joy, you have to know when something good is happening. To feel sad, you have to know when something bad is happening. If you don't have that basic comprehension of life and what occurs around you, you won't know how to react during certain events. Even though Matsuri couldn't perceive what she was feeling, she had the intelligence to feel attraction, whether that's a result of a trait that she's inherited from Moegi herself, or a feeling she gained from evolution. It could be a result of both too. Can't leave the possibility of that out. Even JURA expressed the dangers of acquiring intelligence. One of the dangers was reasoning, but another one of the dangers, and the most relevant to my point here, is love. So that proves it right there. Some point during the evolution process, a Shinju not only gains the human traits such as reasoning, but they also start to be able to perceive the concept of love. It's unlucky for Matsuri, because she already started to understand the concept of love. That's why she couldn't act herself around Konohamaru, which also kept her from devouring him. But in Hidari's case, he just straight up attacked Sarada because he hasn't evolved to the point to where he could perceive the concept of reasoning or love. So these three Shinjus are perfect examples: JURA, Matsuri, and Hidari. JURA has evolved to a point where he understands reasoning more than love, Matsuri has more love than reasoning, and Hidari lacks both reasoning and love. JURA's closer than anyone to acquiring intelligence on both reasoning and love. He's designed to be the strongest Shinju, so that's kinda expected of him in the future. But my case still stands. So going back to Mamushi, it really depends how far he is in his evolution state to whether how much he can bypass a Shinjutsu like reflection. So you see, evolution is not always better. Sometimes it's better to stay a dummy. And when you're up against such a Shinjutsu that is superior against cognitive function, it's better to have less brain cells in order to fight against it. But there's more to it than just being able to fight without thinking. Because the whole time Mamushi is trying to devour Eida, he's gonna have to cognitively try to discard of Daemon that's keeping him from his goal. So he has to identify the problem and want to get rid of it, which requires some type of cognitive function. So it's really difficult now because now there's another problem. Even if Mamushi is instinctively targeting Eida, Daemon can still protect her against him. And if Mamushi wants to deal with Daemon, he has to make a conscious effort to do so. He's not his target or anyone's target for that matter. So what I said about instinct, yeah, that just doesn't apply to Daemon. Because to decide to attack Daemon so he can devour Eida, that's reasoning. And reasoning requires cognitive effort. So my job is to come up with a situation I could put Daemon in that puts pressure on him and make him feel uncomfortable, while still putting pressure on him to assist Eida. So you know what? This is what I'm gonna do. We've seen multiple times that the Shinju are capable of summoning multiple clawgrams at a time. Most of the times they just use them for distraction purposes. There could be a situation where Mamushi uses this ability to summon a large number of clawgrams to help him in his goal to devour Eida. Now the clawgrams can no doubt bypass Daemon's reflective ability. They literally have no consciousness at all. They're just mindless dummies running around trying to attack anything that has chakra. They have no target or anything like that. So instinctively, they have no limitations. They won't evolve to have reasoning or understand the concept of love. But still, I can't just say Daemon loses to clawgrams. No matter how many there are, that's not fair because everyone watching this video knows Daemon would just slam every clawgram on their neck. No concept of difficulty at all. So I have to make him uncomfortable. Maybe create a scenario where it might lead him to getting caught off guard. So maybe while he's fighting the clawgrams, I can have Mamushi actively trying to blitz Eida. Without omnipotence on her side, I'm afraid Eida's not really all that powerful. She can perform basic taijutsu, but nothing to where she can defend herself against a Shinju. So this may create a situation where Daemon can defend himself easily, but trying to defend himself along with trying to keep Mamushi away from Eida may be a problem. Daemon has also shown the tendency to be annoyed with the claw marks, as from when he was fighting against Code. So when you have so many opponents using the claw marks at the same time, emerging from different places around the battlefield, it can get kind of loopy, and it'll be easy to get caught off guard. So if you think Daemon can just tag every one of the clawgrams with his palms and win like that, you may be mistaken. So when you think of a fight between Eida and Daemon versus Mamushi, it may be more to that battle than you think. Someone like Daemon can easily be caught off guard and birth a new Shinju, just like that. As for the target, I don't really know who that would be. My number one guess probably wouldn't be Eida. I feel like that would be a little too obvious, and she is still Mamushi's target at the end of the day. I'm also not going to make his target Boruto and Kawaki for obvious reasons. So a couple characters he's shown interest in the past is Himawari and Code. I would say Himawari is JURA's target, but I don't know how accurate that is, since JURA is believed to technically be after the Nine Tails inside of Himawari, not Himawari herself, as this was the main reason he was initially after Naruto. But once he learned Kurama was now housed inside of Himawari, he instantly changed targets. So this time Daemon would be after Himawari herself. He doesn't know the existence of Kurama, so he must believe the power he sensed inside of her during part 1 must have been her own, causing him to take general interest in her. And Code, I'm not gonna lie, they just have bad blood between them. So his Shinju clone just saying, yeah, I want to devour him or her, I don't think that's too crazy to say. But if I bank on anyone being a target of Shinju Daemon that's not Eida, I'm gonna say it's definitely Himawari. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Did I make any solid points during my argument? Or do you think no matter what the Shinju do, they simply cannot overpower Daemon or overcome his Shinjutsu? Leave all your thoughts and ideas down below. And remember, if you enjoyed the video and want to see more like this in the near future, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss any future uploads or when I go live for chapter spoilers. And until my next one, I'll see you boys and girls later. And I'm out. Peace.